Hey guys, this is Collin Moshman for CardRunners.com. Today we have part 2 of our two-part series on beating the 3R 180 men, picking up at the final table of a recent 3R that I played on PokerStars. And the biggest theme of this video is going to be open shove ranges, 3-bet shove ranges, but we're also going to look at some spots with more play, including 3-betting small and a few post-flop lines as well. So the first hand that we have a decision is this ace-queen suited, and without knowing much about this player, my most common 3-bet shove range here is going to be approximately 9s, ace-queen, ace-jack suited, and king-queen suited. If he's a very lag reg, like 21-19 stance, we can definitely go wider than that, and for example, shove a hand like 6s, and if he's much tighter, then we have to tighten up to 10s, ace-king, ace-queen suited. So regardless of player type, this is just about always going to be a shove, and it's very rare that I would flat or 3-bet small. The main time I would do that would be if the initial opener was an extremely passive player, recreational player, then I would often 3-bet small if I had a premium hand and be unbalanced and only be doing that with premium hands, or I might flat if there was a maniac left to act, but other than that we're just going to be 3-bet shoving the range I gave. And we take it down. So a few more folds, king-queen offsuit in the big blind, and even if the small blind folded, this would be a clear fold. We're going to be quite a bit tighter, calling it off as a mid-stack at the final table, and relative to CEV mode, we're definitely going to be on tighter ranges, with the exception of when we're open shoving as a mid or big stack into stacks that we have covered. So 9-6 off, we would have open folded on the button, and ace-9 suited a lot of the time out open, so if we have a players left to act who are more passive, then we should definitely open here. Against players who are laggier and might 3-bet shove a lot, it is reasonable to fold, but this is definitely a fold that's on the tighter side. So 8-4 off, we toss in the big blind. And 9-6 off, I would have open folded against most players in the big blind. It's fairly close. This is probably about the bottom of the Nash shoving range, pretty break even. Certainly against a tighter player, we could open shove or actually just raise fold this hand. But without much of a read, just folding is fine as well. So ace-3 offsuit on the button is going to be a very clear open shove here, and earlier in the game we would have more options, so we could raise call if we wanted against some very passive players who might raise fold. Here we have the same, so if these guys are, for example, have 15/5 stats, we can raise fold it, but other than that, we definitely don't want to min-raise because we can raise call here with ICM. We wanted to seize the fold equity and open shove this hand. So let's pull up our full shoving range in this spot with final table ICM payouts, and we see that we open shove any pair, any ace, any Broadway hand, as well as speculative hands down to 6-5 suited, Queen 9 off, Jack 9 offsuit, so a fairly wide range, and we don't get action with our shove. Jack 9 offsuit, we would have open folded. And here in this spot, so Queen 9 offsuit we're going to fold, but spots like this come up a lot in any kind of 180-man format where we have an effective stack of about 14 blinds. And here I would mainly be playing shove fold. Again, against some players, we know they're very passive. We can exploit them with a lot of small raises and raise folding quite a bit. But at a 180 final table, there's a much more significant ICM effect. And so it's very similar to, for example, the bubble of 9-mans, where earlier in a 9-man, you're going to raise fold, raise call allow with a 15 blind stack, whereas on the bubble, you're mainly going to be open shoving, particularly against good opponents. So here I would just be playing shove fold, and my full shoving range would be approximately 7s, ace-jack, ace-10 suited, as well as queen-jack suited plus. And so we fold the Queen 9 offsuit. Pocket 3s are just a fold, and this is important. The reason why this is just a fold is because we can't profitably open shove them. It's probably pretty close. It certainly wouldn't be a significant mistake, and that would be our best option if we're not going to fold. But we shouldn't min-raise, and the reason why we shouldn't min-raise here is because we can't call it off against any of these opponents. And if we do get flatted, we have pretty poor implied odds for hitting our set. The effective stack is pretty shallow. And so we can either make a slightly wide shove, or if not, our best option is just going to be to fold this hand.